2 weeks ago, I was in the Bahamas. Now, I'm back to reality. But while I was there, I had some time to think about a series that I've been wanting to start for quite some time. You see, from the beginning, I've been connecting curiosity with traveling, giving you different facts and stories from places around the world. But what about all those daily stuff that I'm curious about? I want to share them too. So here it is, I'm starting a new series. I call it the How/Why series. That's a work in progress title. It's a really simple concept actually. Curiosities about day life stuff. Why do we cross our fingers? Where expressions like "Saved by the Bell" or "You can hear a pin drop" come from. All that in short videos because, you know, I value your time. The first episode is coming in a day or two and it's about Boxing Day. Who started Boxing Day? What is Boxing Day? And is it painful? I'm sure this is not the first video you're watching, so you know how to follow this journey. See you in the first episode. Some countries have this day called Boxing Day. You may have heard about it, but I bet you never asked yourself where the name comes from. Let me explain. Let me disappoint you from the start. The day has nothing to do with the sport of boxing. It comes from the Victorian era. You see, Christmas Day was business as usual for the servants. The next day, however, was their day off. That day, they received special boxes from their masters as gratitude. Servants were also giving boxes to their families once they went back home. Get it? Boxing Day. Churches also helped. Donations throughout the year were kept in boxes. Those boxes were opened on Christmas Day and were given away to the poor on the next day. Boxing Day. So next time you hear Boxing Day, boxing should be the last thing that comes to your mind. And if that's not curious, I don't know what is. Next video, why seashells sound like the sea. You know that if you put a seashell next to your ear, you're gonna hear the sea. But I bet you never ask yourself why. Let me explain. We've all been there. You walk on the beach, you find a seashell, bring it to your ear, and then bam, voila, you hear the sound of the sea. But then you bring that seashell back to your place and the sound is gone. Why? Did it run out of sounds? Did it break on the way? Actually, the answer is science. You see, seashells don't hold in the sound, but whatever sound goes in, it just gets amplified, and that's why you hear the sound of the sea. And that's why when you go home, you don't hear the sea, but what you can hear is the sound of your refrigerator. And if that's not curious, I don't know what is. So in a way, seashell can be a hearing aid? Next video, why are flamingos pink? I know you have seen flamingos before, at least on a picture, but I bet you never asked yourself why they're pink. Well, let me explain. I really hope that you're sitting down because flamingos are not born pink. Their color comes from their diet. Oh, that's right! Flamingos are eating shrimp-like creatures and plants like this one. Both of these foods contain this pigment that gives the flamingos the pink color. The same pigment colors carrots, tomatoes, and tangerines. But if you're really curious, now you're gonna ask me, "Oh, come on, Pavel, it's impossible all the flamingos we see have the same diet." Well, it is, because otherwise they look like this. And if that's not curious, I don't know what is. Next video, why UK sinks have two separate taps. Two taps. If you have lived in England or at least visited, at some point you are frustrated by the two taps of water, but I bet you never ask yourself why. Let me explain. Once again, we will look into the past for this one. Back in the days, water supply for homes was coming from two places. The cold water was coming from a main supply, and it was okay to drink. The hot water was coming from a tank, usually stored somewhere in the loft. And water staying still on one spot for a long time usually is not your best call to have a drink. So to avoid potential issues with the pipes mixing the water, two taps were installed. To help the blind folks, the hot water was always on the left. So the next time your friends ask you about the two taps, you can show off with your knowledge. And if that's not curious, I don't know what is. Next video, where Saved by the Bell comes from. I'm sure you have heard or even used the expression "saved by the bell," but I bet you never ask yourself where it comes from. Let me explain. First of all, it has nothing to do with boxing, which is a common misconception. The answer can be found in history. Back in the 17th century, people had a lot to fear. Poverty, diseases, and the risk of being buried alive. No joke, people used to black out a lot. Various reasons, but large quantities of alcohol was one of the main ones. Just imagine you go to have a few drinks and then you wake up in a dark, closed space. Scary stuff. So, a coffin was invented where one side of a string would be tied to you and the other to a bell. People were employed to walk around graveyards and listen if any bell would ring. The bell rings, you're safe. And if that's not curious, I don't know what is. Next video, why do cats purr?